Hey, welcome back to the Pub Sports Radio Baseball Show. My name is Jose Bouquet, and of course, I'm joined alongside my good buddy Andrew Santangelo. Andrew, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right today, another day. And finally, the winter meetings is picking up a little bit, but I don't know, just, another day. Nothing too special happening. What about you? How you doing?
Doing well, but let's get right into it, Andrew. It's a packed show. People are waiting for the baseball. Obviously the most relevant sport around town right now.
Absolutely. No other sports going on.
So yeah, exactly. Let's talk about the biggest baseball news of the week of the offseason so far. Lance Lynn Sanity is back. He gets traded to the Chicago White Sox, the White Stockings. This is a blow to this show because there are some Lance Lynn fans in the area. He's a workhorse. One of the better pitchers in baseball, as obviously said on this show multiple times. Never disputed either. Joins a good White Sox team. It's going to be fun, interesting team. I can't wait for it. Andrew, my fun fact for you is that Lance Lynn was actually already coached by Tony La Russa.
Is it really?
Lance Lynn was on the Cardinals his rookie year. That was where he started, if you guys don't remember that. That was the year, I think it was 2011. That was the year that the Cardinals won the World Series with good old Tony La Russa at the helm. Andrew, what do you think of this move so far? Well, I guess so far, but what do you think of it as in general?
I think it's a great pickup for the White Sox. We talked about it last year after the trade deadline when they didn't really make any moves or anything, that they needed that pitcher to help get them to the next step. And obviously, they're in a competitive division with the Twins and Indians there, so they have a lot to do. And obviously, they came out this offseason. We'll get into their other move yesterday as well. But they need another pitcher, and they solidified this rotation. I don't know, is it the best rotation in baseball? That's up for debate, obviously, but there's some other really good rotations. But this does put the rotation up there in the top, one of the top ones in the league, obviously with Lance Lynn, Dallas Keuchel, and many others there in that rotation. Kind of leading them, a lot of veterans there in Lynn and Keuchel that have been there in the playoffs, or not necessarily in the playoffs, but been there around the league for a while, as Lynn's in his 33 now. He's been in the top 5, I believe, in the Cy Young last 2 years. So he's definitely a proven player at this point, and a guy I obviously have been on here before talking about how much I liked him. And I mean, he'll go out, get you innings, keep you in the game throughout the year. And I think this is a really good move. And I think you could say this move could put them as favorites in the Central.
Andrew, I agree with you. I wanted to talk further about the rotations, since you mentioned it. I do think this move does put the rotation up there within the best in baseball. I wrote down the best in the AL at least right now. Just let's spitball it real quick. I mean, like we said, they have Lucas Giolito, who you can make an argument is a top 5 pitcher in baseball. His no-hitter last year was really impressive. Then we've got your boy Lance Lynn, I would assume would go number 2. Then you've got Dallas Keuchel, and then the wild card, which I think most people are going to be excited for this year. He opted out this past season. It's Michael Kopech, Andrew. Michael Kopech, one of the jewels of the Yoan Moncada, Chris Sale deal. The Red Sox sent over to the White Sox. He throws 100 pretty easily. He's a starting pitcher. He might be ridiculous. I mean, with his stuff, he could be another Ian Anderson type kind of guy. Just go in there and help immediately. So he's just got to stay healthy, and hopefully he can control the 100. That'll be interesting to see as well. But that foursome right there going into any series is scary. And I put it up against almost everyone, and I think they hang in there. And I do think they are the favorites in the AL Central now. But I mean, the wild card is Tony La Russa. Who the fuck knows what we're gonna get with that? How that's gonna go? I mean, if that's that whole hiring could steward this into the next stage of this like championship contendership, but if it goes bad, gosh, we could see something disastrous, and that might not even see him last the whole year. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you seen it in the past where you get a coach you think's going to be pretty good and ends up not getting along with the players, not be able to transition into the game, and I think that's something fans have to be concerned about. And obviously, White Sox are doing what they can, and obviously building a very strong team roster-wise on paper. And I mean, we just mentioned the rotation. Their offense is no joke as well. I mean, they do have the MVP coming back next year. So again, the roster is nothing to joke around about. It's a heavily talented roster from top to bottom. And that's just the start of the winter meetings too. They're 2 days in. Who knows what else they might have up their sleeves in these next coming days at the winter meetings and beyond as we get ready to approach spring training next year. And I think that goes to show where they're going from there. And I think that's still why I'm shocked about the whole managerial change too, is because you're just playing a dangerous game there. You're just asking for trouble there by making that switch there after a very improved season and a lot of returners. I mean, you're playing with a dangerous game there, and I think fans and we are going to be concerned as well with that, and it's rightfully so.
Yeah, I agree with you. Shout out to Big Show Picks for tuning in. Shout out, man. Appreciate you watching as always. Andrew, I should have played this earlier, but you mentioned earlier the winter meetings. They always are a time for deals and such. We'll talk about that further later. But you hear that, Andrew? It's the hot stove, Andrew. It's the hot stove. We're there, Andrew.
It's finally started. It started.
We're in. We're finally in the off season, baby. We're in the off season. The hot stove's hot. We're crisping up. It's great because we're going to talk about some more moves, which fills my heart with joy. Let's talk about Adam Eaton real fast. He returns to the White Sox as well. 1 year, $7 million to play right field again, an everyday right fielder. I thought this made sense. This is a good move for them. They have a club option for next year too at an $8 million, 1 year, $8 million if they want it after that. And I think it's a good move. Just keeping everything together from last year just feels like the right move. And those little incremental additions will definitely help them.
Exactly, and I think that's what you see in a lot of contenders and eventual World Series champions is like you build that team, you get close, then you keep the same team, and you just add those last few pieces. So I think they're playing it right, and a lot of credit to their GM for building this good roster.
Yes. Let's move on to the next deal, Andrew. Let's continue the hot stove. Here we go again. The hot stove. It's boiling, Andrew. We're getting in there again because we're going to Kansas City, huh?
Are they contenders?
No, they're not, but they're signing some people, and I'd love some Kansas City barbecue right now. Speaking of stoves and crispy things.
That does sound very good.
Someone that's going to enjoy the Kansas City barbecue, Andrew, is your boy Carlos Santana. Signs with the Royals, 2 years, $17 million. He's getting a nice little chunk of change to go to Kansas City. Will he stay both years in Kansas City? I don't think so. I immediately thought this is a trade candidate when the trade deadline comes, when someone needs a bat in the playoffs. That's what's going to get them more prospects. But I thought that was an interesting one. Then we've also got Mike Minor. He signed with the Royals 2 years, and they also went out and got Michael Taylor for a year. Do you have any feelings or thoughts on those deals, Andrew?
No, they seem like they're all just try to grab people in the seats, maybe, assuming if fans can get back in attendance for the start of next year. I think those are kind of what they are. Those kind of moves are. And then, like you said, eventual trade deadline pieces. Again, they're good. I think two of those three names. I'm not high on Michael Taylor, but I think Carlos Santana and Mike Minor can make a difference for a contending team there after the deadline, especially with some of the recent past history in the league. So I think those are key pieces that if they perform at the level they have the last couple of years. I know Minor had a down year last year, but if he gets back to a little bit like he was the year before that, he could really make a difference down the stretch for a contending team. I don't think the $17 million for 2 years for Carlos Santana is that much. I think it's a team-friendly deal as well. I think the biggest thing is, which we'll get into later as well, is some of the rule changes that are going back to normal. That does hurt Carlos Santana's value a little bit, and the DH not expected to come back for Universal, at least for 2021. So we'll see if that is finalized for next year or not. We're still waiting on the actual finalization. So that does hurt his trade value a little bit. But I think that's ultimately what this move is. You get some fans in there for the first half of the season, then eventually move them for other parts, other prospects as you continue your rebuild here. But I've always liked Carlos Santana. I think it's funny he is leaving. I was expecting him to go back to Cleveland. He just seems like such a Cleveland guy at this point. He didn't work out in Philadelphia when he tried to leave before, and when he went back, he found his success again. So I kind of thought he'd stay in Cleveland. So this was not only a shocking move to see Kansas City go after him, but for me as well to see him leave Cleveland overall once again.
Yeah, I agree with you. Well, let's move on, Andrew, because Andrew, guess what? We're still fucking boiling, dude. The hot stove is crispy, Andrew. Because we've got an interesting trade. This is my least favorite trade, actually, of the bunch. Good old Rafael Iglesias gets traded away from the Cincinnati Reds to go to the Angels for Noel Ramirez. Former Red Sox, by the way. Shout out to him. He stunk with the Red Sox, and he turned it on, and he's been pretty good with the Angels. And they also got cash considerations as well. Andrew, who would you rather have in this situation, Ramirez or cash considerations? I've heard that cash considerations is hitting for a high average in low A. So,
give me the cash.
okay, good.
No,
All right.
no.
Weird move by the Reds. Weird move by the Reds.
It's a very weird move here, but I like to move for the Angels. I think Iglesias is a high velocity thrower. We all know the struggles they've had in the past pitching wise, and we've always wanted them to get more pitching for Trout and company in that offense because we all know that's not the problem with the team. So I like this move here for the Angels. They're willing to add some cap, and I think that's why the Reds made the move as well. I think they're trying to free up some as well. So like you said, it doesn't make much sense from the Reds standpoint, but from the Angels standpoint, I really like this trade.
Yeah, the Angels finally get a good closer. He was great, or he had his moments of being great in Cincinnati. They also non-tendered Archie Bradley, which was a weird move. Traded for him and then just letting him go. I guess that's smart. But Amir Garrett, steps up. He's the closer. That's gonna be fun to watch at least. But they're not done. Those Angels, Andrew. Because guess what, Andrew? We are still in the frying pan. We are still there. The Angels have actually cornered the market on Iglesias because they get Jose Iglesias as well from the Baltimore Orioles. A weird trade from the Orioles because Iglesias was by far their best player last year. It was kind of funny. But he goes to Los Angeles as well because it does seem like Andrelton Simmons will be moving on. So it's not a very bad defensive replacement when you go from Andrelton Simmons to Jose Iglesias. Good defender, pretty good at hitting last year. These are two good moves back to back from the Angels. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I think it's another good move by them, and it shows maybe what their last GM, I'm blanking on his name, was like, though, and you bring in a new little front office group there, and already starting to make moves there to try to improve that team. And I like both these moves. Like you said, I think this shows Simmons might be on the move out there from the Angels, but you replace him with a solid player. Baltimore standpoint, obviously you're not going to be playing for much this year just yet, and you try to add more prospect pieces in that sense, and whatever else you can to try to complete this rebuild as fast as possible because Iglesias is obviously not going to be part of that future there.
All right, so moving on to a sadder note, RIP to legendary baseball Hall of not a Hall of Famer, should be a Hall of Famer.
He will be. I think, or this would have been the year, I think.
He will be. RIP to Dick Allen, all-time name as well, Dick Allen. 1964 NL Rookie of the Year. Philly.
Yep.
Andrew Phil, beloved Philly, apparently. So shout out to him. Apparently, he had a 40-ounce bat with him. He swung a 40-ounce bat with a fucking club. If you've never held a baseball bat before, 40 ounces is hefty. He also had the most season with 20 home runs and an 850 OPS from 1964 to 1974. That's when he played those 11 seasons. He only did better. He tied with some guy named Hank Aaron with 10. That's pretty good. He also
Was he good?
Yeah, I think he's okay. I think he also beat this guy named Willie McCovey. I mean, he has a whole place in a stadium named after him, so I think he's pretty good. And then Frank Robinson, who we'll talk about later as well. He also had a better WAR than Brooks Robinson, Pete Rose. Oh no, he had a better WAR than Pete Rose. He only did not have a better WAR than Hank Aaron at 68.8, which is ridiculous. Yaz, Roberto Clemente, Ron Santo, and Brooks Robinson all were the only people that had a better WAR than him in his era. He had a 58.3. So pretty good there. Andrew, do you have anything to say about good old Dick Allen?
Yeah, it's sad to see this news. He was battling cancer for a long time, so it caught up to him in this point in his life, unfortunately. And it's sad to see him go because a lot of people were really expecting him to finally get that call to the Hall of Fame, and it's a shame it couldn't have been in there this year. I think they said if it didn't get postponed, he most likely would have made it this year. But obviously, it's postponed due to COVID reasons, so that kind of hurt that sense. But he was well respected around the league, especially from, I can just speak off the Phillies standpoint, obviously being from the area and getting all the news there. Well respected team player throughout his career. He's actually the Phillies retired his number last year during the 2020 season. And he was actually the first player. This is how well he was respected. He was the first player the Phillies retired his number without being a Hall of Fame. They have a rule that they're only retiring Hall of Fame players' numbers, but they allowed the exception for Dick Allen last year.
Yeah, the Red Sox did that with Manny Ramirez or Nomar.
You say they are going to,
or should? They haven't. They should.
But so it was cool. I mean, unfortunately, again, not able to make the Hall of Fame, but a well-respected person. At least, I mean, unfortunately, there's no fans there, but at least he was able to get that honor with his former teammates, people in the organization, and everything there. And it was just a cool moment there last year. John Middleton, currently in the front office with the Phillies, said this was one of the most special days he's ever was part of in the Phillies organization. One of the top 2 or 3 moments outside winning the World Series he had with the organization was being able to retire his number. It was one of Middleton's comments yesterday. This happened, and he passed away. So unfortunately, again, sad news, but great player, and hopefully in the next voting there for the Hall of Fame, Dick Allen will be able to make it.
Okay, so let's move on to another piece of news. Well, not a piece of news. We're gonna have a full little breakdown here of all MLB finalists. We'll talk about who our picks will be to the first and second team, see who we leave off, all that good stuff. But first, Andrew, let's talk about our good friends at Wolf Spread, Andrew. Andrew, do you know what a Wolf Spread is?
Why don't you enlighten me?
Well, for those of you who don't know, Wolf Spread is a mobile app on your phone. You can download it today. There's a white logo, your little wolf on there. You download it. You have a bankroll of $2,000. You create competitions and you bet on these hypothetical. Well, not really hypothetical. You bet your hypothetical money on these real games, and you see how you do against your friends. Wolf Spread is sponsoring Pub Sports Radio. We have 2 competitions actually right now, both football competitions. They go every week. Join, bet, make these bets, create a competition. Join, invite your friends. Hopefully, if you win, you get a free T-shirt from Pub Sports Radio. So join today. Wolf Spread. Download it today. Join the Pub Sports Radio competition. You can join by clicking the link on the Twitter page, on the Facebook. Join today. All right, Andrew, you ready for MLB finalist, all MLB team finalists?
Let's jump into it.
All right, so MLB released, MLB.com, whoever releases the 3 finalists for each position, Andrew, and I'd like to present them to you, and we can hash out who our first and second team is. Are you ready, sir? You already said you're ready, so I'm going regardless. I'm ready now. First up, we're going to start behind the plate, the catchers. I think this is one of the more difficult decisions that we're left with. We've got number 1. I'll put up here. These are in no certain order, by the way, so don't think the people are watching. Don't think that this is in a certain order. Number 1, we've got Travis Diarno of the Atlanta Braves. Just a measly triple slash of 321, 386, and 533 with 9 home runs. Helped lead his team to the NLCS, where he came 1 game away from beating the eventual World Series champion LA Dodgers. All-time year for himself. Great. You never see a catcher hitting 320 nowadays. Just a stud all around. Travis. Next, we've got Salvador Perez of the Royals. His first year back from TJ. Shout out to him. Appreciate him. I love Salvador Perez, Venezuelan. Shout out to him. He hit 333 this year at Andrews, 11 home runs with just another measly 986 OPS. Off of coming off of TJ, and he was a great defensive catcher this year too. People just never watched the Royals, unfortunately. But Salvador was doing his thing this year. I'm glad that he's on this list. And lastly, Andrew, someone that you particularly know a good deal about. I don't know if you are a fan of him. I don't know. Maybe your poverty franchise will resign him. It's JT Realmuto. JT Realmuto. Andrew, could you just why is he on this list? Could you just tell me why he could be on this list?
He's on the list because he's the best catcher in baseball. Best two-way player, offensively and defensively. He'll be able to hit. He's not a bad hitter for average. I think it was a little lower than usual. He can hit for power. He'll throw players out like crazy on steals, and he's a team player.
Oh, okay. Well, he sounds like someone you'd want to sign.
Yeah, it's a player you'd probably want on your team, But unfortunately, it doesn't seem like everybody has the same feelings.
Hey, well, I mean, what can we say, Andrew? Baseball is not a lucrative business. It's hard to make money when you lose $2 billion. What can you do?
I was waiting for you to bring that in at some point.
I don't know what you're talking about, Andrew. We're just chit chatting.
Yeah. There's no way a team could lose that much money, right? Yeah. But teams find a way. Owners find ways.
I don't know if owners find a way. I just think more we just get lied to. But let's talk about all MLB catchers, Andrew. Tell me, who are your first and second team all MLB catchers out of these three gentlemen?
I'd have to go Salvador Perez, first team, and Travis Diarno, second.
Wow. JT Realmuto left off. Could you please defend this? This is so non-biased of you.
I think, don't get me wrong, JT obviously a great catcher, but he gets hurt toward the end of the year. He kind of fell off a little bit. I'm not saying he was as good as Fernando Tatis was, but kind of the same thing. Had a very, very, very good start to the season. Kind of dropped off a little bit as the season went on, and then unfortunately had a season-ending injury, I think, with there's like 15, 16 games left in the year, so kind of missed time there as well. But again, this year his average was a little bit down than usual, so I think that hurt him. I think when you see Travis's numbers and the way he performed, like you mentioned, help his team get to the NLCS, his numbers were kind of there, power-wise, RBIs-wise, and like you said, OPS over 900, which is pretty impressive. Just a tough guy to beat out there, and good for Travis. I mean, he's been around the league. He was a highly thought about prospect for a while and had a couple of down years, so kind of good. I mean, obviously not in my division, but good to see him kind of figure things out this year and be able to pull that off. But unfortunately, I don't think his season was as good as Salvador's was. I think Perez, again, what he did with a bad Royals team and the numbers he put up in only 37 games, I think that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's awesome. I love Salvador. I'm glad you put him on this list because I'm not going to do it. My first one was good old Travis Diarno. I think he's done enough to be put on this list. He's a great overall catcher. He didn't really lead, but he was on the Braves team that was absolutely dominant this year. Fun to watch the whole time. And then my second team was JT. You said it yourself. He's the best catcher in baseball. He's the best catcher in baseball. I think what he does to help the pitchers is phenomenal. I love Salvador Perez, but the Royals were just not good enough to get him on here. But maybe I'm just saying this so we don't have the same list. Who's to say? First base, Andrew. First base. We have got Jose Abreu, number one. MVP. I don't really need to say much more other than that. AL MVP. Pretty good this year. Leader of the White Sox, who, again, we talked about earlier as a super exciting, fun young team. Number two, Freddy Freeman, who also is an MVP. NL MVP as well. Literally led the Braves. He is the leader of the Braves. Led them to the NLCS as earlier. And then, Third, I guess welcome to a participation trophy here. Thanks for coming out, Luke Voigt. Luke Voigt of the Yankees, 22 home runs, 52 RBIs, very great year. He kept the Yankees afloat. Breakout year. I hope he does it next year. I actually really like Luke Voigt. He'd probably be one of my favorite Yankees if I had to label them, which is pretty tough. But yeah, Andrew, this is more about who's gonna get the one, who's gonna get first team here, because we know it's gonna be Abreu and Freeman, but what order?
Yeah, this is honestly really tough. You look at it and some really good numbers all around the board. I know Jose Abreu beats him out in power wise, 19 to 13 home runs, 60 to 53 RBIs. But I mean, those are two obviously fantastic stats. But everything else Freddie Freeman was able to do in terms of hit for average, I mean, 341 batting average. Just listen to that number. 462 on base percentage. So there's incredible numbers there. And you talk about OPS and the impressive 900. Well, listen to this. Freddie Freeman was 1.102. Was his OPS. So outstanding number there. So, I mean, again, two tremendous players, obviously MVP. Both players win MVP in their respective leagues. And while Jose Abreu does have the power numbers, I got to give a slight edge here to Freddie Freeman, number 1, and Jose Abreu, number 2.
I couldn't agree more. I think the same thing. I going Freddie 1, Abreu 2, for sure. You said it all. You said it all. I was wiping myself off because for some reason I had like some like brown goo on my arm. I was like, what is on me?
Oh, do you want to explain what happened?
I wish I did. You know what, Andrew? I wish I could tell you. I'm over here looking at myself like, what the fuck? Yeah. Shout out a big show. We're sorry about your Tigers. Maybe if you stick around long enough, maybe you'll see a Tiger on the All-MLB team.
They got some prospects. They got some good prospects coming up.
Yeah, we'll talk. Maybe we'll talk some Tigers later. Second base, Andrew. Pretty crowded, kind of. We got an interesting bunch. Second base is kind of weak sometimes. It's weird not seeing my baby boy Dustin Pedroia up here anymore. But best second baseman, Jake Cronenworth. We'll start with you. Rookie year, one of the finalists for the NL Rookie of the Year. 285, 354, 477, triple slash. Great utility man for the Padres. Getting considered for second base, is just a testament to what he can do because he played the outfield a bunch too. Next, free agent, and who knows where he'll go. This man, DJ LeMahieu. Pretty good. Arguably the best hitter in baseball, some would say. He was the batting champ this year, 364 this year. 364 best batting average for a full season since good old Josh Hamilton. Shout out to him. Led the AL on base percentage and OPS. He had a 1.011 OPS. And then we've got lastly, yeah, that's pretty good right there. That'll play. Lastly, we've got Brandon Lau of the Rays. Kind of struggled in the postseason, but dominated regular season wise. 14 home runs and a 916 OPS. I think DJ LeMahieu confirmed is the number 1 first overall pick here for the second baseman. But who do you think is going to take out number 2 here? Who's the second team All-MLB?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. DJ LeMahieu's got to take number 1. I'd be shocked if he doesn't. Number 2, though, I'm going to go Brandon Lowe. I think he had the better overall year. I think Jake, obviously, fantastic, versatile player, hit for really good average. I think Brandon Lowe, 269 isn't a bad average. OPS 916 strong as well. I think his power numbers kind of help him out a little more than Jake's did, and I think that's one of the big areas I see a difference in. And obviously, being able to take your team but help get your team to where they ended up going. I think that says a lot as well. So I'm going to give Brandon Lowe the slight edge.
Yeah, my favorite thing is his name is Brandon Lau, but yeah, I get you. Yeah,
you said Lowe too. That's why I said Lowe.
Well, his name's Brandon Lau, so there we go.
Because I thought it was Lau too, but you said Lowe, and you're usually the good one. You're usually the one that's always right about the name. So I was like, you know what? I want to follow his lead.
No, I guess that was my Hispanic brain reading it as it is pronounced. But no, it's Brandon Lau. So shout out to Brandon Lau. Third base. We're gonna keep chugging along these ends because, like we said, we had a packed show. Third base, another pretty tough 1-2 decision here. There's another thank you for coming out participant. We've got Manny Machido, aka Manny Machado of the San Diego Padres, career high in batting average, on base, and slugging at 304, 317, and 580. He was, I mean, you could say that this Fernando Tatis' team, but he's right there with him, making the Padres hum. A great year for them overall. Next, you got Jose Ramirez, who arguably carried the Indians the second half of the season, especially the last week to get them in the playoffs. Disappointing result when they got in there, but he could only do so much. 17 home runs, an AL best 45 runs, and a 993 OPS. Like I said, he did carry the Indians, did some heroic stuff too to get them in. And then thank you for coming out, Justin Turner, who is the third finalist in here. Mostly everyone will now remember you as being that guy with COVID, so that will be tough. But he had a 307 batting average and a 400 OBP on base percentage. If you guys don't know, which is good. He wasn't just that; he is also a very good baseball player. But Andrew, who would you put as your 1 and 2 here?
I'm gonna go Manny Machado number 1. He's the best player on his team, based off last year. Yes, I will continue to say it. I know you want to say it's Fernando Tatis' team.
I didn't say
it. I saw the face though. I saw the face.
I did not. I was
Manny Machado had the better year though. Helped his team. Both players helped their team get there. But Manny Machado, he was the best player on his team. The average gives him the edge over Ramirez. Their home run, the RBI numbers are pretty similar in that sense. So I'm gonna give the edge to Manny Machado.
Okay,
it's tough though. It's really close.
I want to disagree with you, Andrew. I really do, but I think I'll follow you there. I think Machido gets the number 1 spot. I think he deserves first team All-MLB, and then Joe Ram is right behind him though. It's close. It's close. I mean, both were in the MVP race for their division or their conference, whatever we're calling these leagues nowadays. But Justin Turner, thank you for coming out as always, though. Appreciate it. So we've got Manny Machado 1, Jose Ramirez is the second team. Next, shortstops. Shortstops, Andrew. This one's fucking brutal. This is really fucking tough here. We've got Corey Seager, just the NLCS and World Series MVP, 307 batting average, a 943 OPS, and 15 home runs. Ho hum. That's all right, I guess. We also have Fernando Tatis Jr., who was everything that baseball needed and more this season. He was the face of baseball this year. Young player, Latin flair, everything you want. Made the Padres relevant, took them to the playoffs. Yeah, tailed off at the end of the year, but whatever. He made his overall numbers look worse, but he had a hell of a year. And then we've got, by the way, he hit 17 home runs, 11 stolen bases, and a 937 OPS. So whatever, 17 home runs and 11 stolen bases. I guess that'll play, Andrew. And then lastly, the forgotten man, who, I mean, I will say that he's maybe the best shortstop in baseball too.
Yeah.
Trey Turner. Trey Turner on the Nationals led the league in hits this year with 78, 12 home runs, 12 stolen bases, a 335 average, which is low for him. 394 and a 588 triple slash. Who the hell are we picking here, Andrew?
This is one of the tougher ones. I think Trey Turner is one of the most underrated baseball players in the game.
Yes.
I don't think he gets enough respect there in that sense.
Yeah, he's right. Honestly, I think he's just as good as Juan Soto. He's really that good.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it, obviously, with the Nationals having a down year, I don't think that helped this year as well. But in terms of this, I'm going to have to go number 3 is Fernando Tatis Jr. Number 2 is Trey Turner. And number 1 is Corey Seager.
I'll agree with you there. It's Fernando's first year. That tail off at the end of the year really hurt him. But I'm going to flip him, though. I'm going to put Trey Turner number 1, and I'm going to put Corey Seager number 2.
Is it because of the stolen bases?
Not just that. I think, I want everyone to get awards, Andrew. I'm the kind of guy that's nice about their awards. Corey Seager, congratulations. You got an NLCS MVP, a World Series MVP, a World Series ring. You're living on cloud 9. How about we let Trey Turner take first team all MLB. Corey Seager takes the second seed. It's Trey Turner is just so fucking good, Andrew. He's just so good. He does everything you want. When he stays healthy, when he's not trying to bunt and break his fingers, he's out there doing the best he can. Shout out to MMA Locker Room for watching. Shout out, appreciate you all as always. Actually, the UFC live stream champion, I believe, too, right now. Andrew, if you don't know, there's a UFC 4 sim where we are created on a game by a good old Big Show Picks, and we are simmed and fought. We fight against each other. I don't remember how I did last time, but in the first time we simmed, I got to the second round, and then I got my ass promptly handed to me. I watched the live stream, and I was rooting for the wrong guy for half the time too, and I realized that. So that was fun.
Good.
Yeah, I know. MMA.
At least you won one round.
Yeah, exactly. MMA chiming in with he's a Brankies. So he's a Brankies fan. He's a Braves and Yankees guy. That's a pretty terrible combination if I mean. So shout out to you and Big Show as always. I needed it. I needed that win. But Andrew, let's move on to the outfield. Did we cover all the infielders? Yeah, we got there.
Yeah, we got all the infielders. I think. What would you say? Catcher and shortstop might have been the toughest.
Yeah, catcher and shortstop catcher and shortstop. I mean, I would say they're all three in play, while the other positions are only two guys, and you're just trying to decide who's first and second there. But let's move on to the outfield, which is pretty dense. Pretty dense, Andrew. We got three positions here. I looked it up. It's just outfielders, so it doesn't matter if they're both center fielders or whatever.
Which I thought was odd. I really think that's odd. I mean, they have the three positions for a reason.
I'm all for positionality. If I wanted Mookie Betts to play center or left, I know he could. So,
well, yeah, he can, but he's I don't know.
Okay, so let's get to the finalists here. I'll buzz through all the finalists. We've got Ronald Acuna Jr., Mookie Betts, Michael Conforto, which was the most shocking inclusion of all of them, of all the picks, I think, actually. Bryce Harper, Eloy Jimenez, Juan Soto, George Springer, Mike Trout, Mike Yastrzemski. I'll give you my picks first. I didn't want to just go through the all chalk. I wanted this to be a representation of, if you have not won an award, your team stinks sometimes. And I want to represent you somehow, even though I didn't do this with Salvador Perez. I'm going to do this with the outfielders. I'm going to take Mookie Betts, of course. He's the best player in baseball. We've got Mike Trout, who is the second best player in baseball. And
You're crazy.
And then I have a battle for the third spot with Juan Soto there, who had a phenomenal year, an absolutely fantastic year, or Mike Yastrzemski, who also had a great year, tailed off as well. He was an early MVP candidate on the Giants. I would like you to pick my third outfielder for me, because you might not have that yourself, but I would like you to pick for me.
Okay, I assume. No, never mind. Juan Soto over Yastrzemski.
Okay, so who are your three then?
I'm gonna have to agree with your three. I mean, like you said, well, first off, Mike Trout's the best player in baseball, but Mookie Betts is number 2, maybe number 3. Who knows?
How did Mike Trout do in the playoffs this year?
I'm sorry, just because you make the playoffs, you're the best player.
Hey, when you perform in the playoffs and you win World Series, yeah.
Okay, I guess JT's not the best catcher then. He's never played a playoff game before.
I guess not.
According to your logic, then JT's not
me.
You already said the show.
Christian, you already said who's better than him. What are we talking about?
You already said it on the show that he's the best catcher in baseball. That's why you picked him on your number 2 All-MLB team.
Andrew, stop holding me to the things I say.
You might get it past me on the next show, but when you said it maybe 20 minutes earlier, I'm gonna call you on that one. Trout,
3 outfielders, huh?
Yeah, Trout, Betts are probably the best 2 in baseball, so they have to be on there, and that's very good years. And then what Juan Soto was able to do this year in the shortened time, I mean, it was just incredible. I mean, imagine if he played a full year, what his numbers could have been even more impressive than what he did. So I think those three are pretty easy in this one.
Yeah, I'll agree with you. I wish Yastrzemski had the juice to get in there. I wish your boy Harper had the juice, but they're not going to get in there.
They still have to settle for second team.
Oh yeah. Well, those are just I didn't even think about that.
Well, I assume they're doing 3 on the first, 3 on the second, right?
Yeah. They have to. Yeah, I guess I just brain farted there. Who are our next three then?
I think you go Mike Yastrzemski, and I think he could have been on the first team if he didn't drop off a little bit in the second half like Fernando Tatis did. I think you gotta go Mike, Bryce Harper, and then
I'm glad you put him in.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. Acuna had a down year. Like I think in a normal year, like talent wise going into a season, I think he's going to be up there for one of the better players. But like only hitting 250 really hurts me. To put him on a top team or one of the top 2 teams here.
I'd put Springer over him.
Yeah, I think I'll go George Springer too.
Okay, I'll agree with you as well. Shout out to Packer Nation. What up, man? Thanks for watching. Appreciate the Packers love, Andrew. I might talk about the Packers later. I don't know. It depends. It depends on.
What do you got about the Packers?
It's just they played a game recently.
They did.
Talk about. Let's talk about DHs first. 3 DH candidates. I think this one's pretty easy. We've got Michael Brantley. Thank you for coming out. 300, 364, 476, triple slash. I appreciate you coming out, Michael Brantley. Hope you enjoy Boston. Next, we have our second team candidate, Nelson Cruz, 16 bombs, 992 OPS. And then we have our first team winner. Andrew, I already know this is the order, by the way. Trust me, I know. First team winner, Marcell Ozuna, the almost triple crown winner. I sent him his almost triple crown package, his trophy, in the mail recently, Andrew. Led the league in home runs, 18. Led in RBIs, 56. But just couldn't get that average up. Hit a measly 338 average.
Yeah, I mean, didn't get enough respect this year, especially from you. I'm going to call you out on that one, too.
Call me out, please.
But, yeah, should have been a finalist for MVP as well. But, hey, let's still get first team in baseball DH.
Okay, so we're good there?
Yeah, that's Ozuna, Cruz, and then Brantley.
Okay. Starting pitchers. We get 5 here, Andrew. We get 5, and I'm not going to ask you for a second here because we get so many. But it's I might actually ask you for a second team. I don't know. We'll see. First team, I have my first team locks. I have 3 lock guarantees. Trevor Bauer, Shane Bieber, Garrett Cole. I think those are locked in. Next, we've got Yu Darvish, Jacob deGrom, Max Fried, Clayton Kershaw, Dallas Keuchel, Dinelson Lamet, Kenta Maeda, Aaron Nola, and Hyunjin Ryu. I narrowed it down to 5 people for 2 spots. I narrowed it down to Yu Darvish, Jacob deGrom, Max Fried, Lamet, and Kenta Maeda. What do you think?
I'm going to agree with you. I mean, Bieber, Bauer, and Cole. Is Cole a lock, though? I'm gonna ask you a question.
Cole's a lock.
Why? Let me ask you that question. Why?
Because he was good this year and he plays on the Yankees.
Okay. But
hey, there you go.
Are you going to tell me, though, some of those names you just said did not have a better year than him? Because I would argue that they had better year than him.
I would agree with you. I would say that he had just as good of a year as like a Yu Darvish.
I think Yu Darvish had a better year.
Let's see. This year he had a 2.2 WAR, 7-3, a 2.84 ERA, in 12 starts, 73 innings pitched, 94 Ks for good old Garrett Cole.
And then Yu Darvish was 8-3 with a 2.01 ERA, 76 innings pitched.
Yeah,
and 93 Ks.
Yeah, he has 1 less K. I mean, yeah.
No, it's 12 starts.
1 less K.
I thought you said 1 less game.
No. Yeah, I think Garrett Cole's a lock. If you want to go ahead and lock you Darvish in there too, I'm down with that too. He had a great year. He was an NL Cy Young finalist, so you Darvish. I think he has to be in there now.
All right. So I think I'll go Bieber, Bauer, Darvish. I think
one spot left for DeGrom, Fried, Lamet, and Maeda.
Well, who said I'm going Cole?
You're not going to put Cole in there? Okay.
I'm thinking about it. I mean, I think he'll get it because of his name. But I mean, I think you could argue some other guys had better years, and he shouldn't be as much of a lock as people might think. So, but I'll throw him in there because I think he'll probably get it. He'll get it because of his name, and like you said, he's on the Yankees. So I'll throw him in there. And I think what? So I got one spot for. I think I'm gonna go. This is tough because how much value do you put into strikeouts? Like some pitchers aren't a strikeout guy, so yeah, a guy might blow him out the door in strikeouts, but like if he's not a strikeout pitcher,
I mean strikeouts are pretty fucking good, Andrew.
I know they are, but I'm gonna get. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm gonna go. Give me Kenta Maeda.
Wow.
His whip was incredible. I mean, 0.75 whip, 2.70 ERA, 6-1 record. Really helped the Twins lead them to the playoffs and stuff. And I know you'll probably go with. Let me guess. You want me to guess?
Yeah, go ahead.
You'll probably go Jacob deGrom.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, why? Because it was 104 strikeouts.
Yeah. He could have won. He could have, and and maybe in a normal year should have won 3 straight Cy Youngs, Andrew.
Actually, wait a minute. I forgot about Dallas Keuchel.
Get you the fuck out of here if you think Dallas Keuchel is going to be the first team over. Giolito's not even on this list. Starting to realize this.
Dallas Keuchel had a below 2 ERA.
Cool, man. Giolito is better. You know what? Let's. So I think our first. Let's lock in our first team right now.
You're taking too much into account of who you think the better overall player is coming into a season. Like they're going to base this off of who had the better year.
Dallas Keuchel is a great second team member. I appreciate his effort. He's a great second team member, but he's not better. He did not have a better year than Jacob deGrom. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's fine. But you said Lucas. He had a 3.48 ERA. I'm sorry, he's not making a top 2 team with that.
Well, yeah, Lucas got blown up on his first start, and then his ERA was blown up from then. That's fine. He's not going to make it for a top 2, but he's not going to. I don't. If you're going to tell me Dallas Keuchel is better than Lucas Giolito because he made the second team All-MLB, I'll fight you.
No, I'm not saying he's better, but I'm saying this year. You're saying you're surprised Lucas didn't make it. I'm saying. Yeah. Of course he didn't make it. He didn't have that good of a year.
It's one start. Like I said, one start blew up his ERA. It was unfortunate. All right. So we got Bauer, Bieber, Cole, Darvish, deGrom in our first team. You've got Maeda on your first team. Who's your second team, Andrew? Real quick.
Second team. Well, I'll go Keuchel, deGrom. Was it Lamet? And then. This is another tough one.
You debate him between.
Oh, well, you know what? I forgot about Max Fried. I guess because of his injury, I guess that hurt him. But I mean, you could have had a much better year than he had. Yeah,
Max Fried's in there for me. Max Fried's confirmed solid second team, if not maybe should be first team.
That's what I'm saying. Like we even mentioned him in the first team.
I just think I'll take deGrom over. I understand, all that good stuff. deGrom's better.
So let me go. I'll go deGrom, Fried. Who am I forgetting now? Kershaw.
Yeah, I have. So let me tell you real fast.
deGrom and then Nola.
You said deGrom twice. So I have Fried. You have Keuchel. I don't think you said Keuchel.
Okay, hold on.
So I've got Maeda, Lamet, Keuchel, Fried, and I'm battling between my last spot, and I guess I'm going to give it to Ryu. I guess so. I've got Fried, Keuchel, Lamet, Maeda, Ryu for my second.
So you're going Ryu over Nola and
Kershaw, yeah. All right, Kershaw, I won that World Series, man.
I got the.
Yeah, that's what you needed. Fuck everything else. The World Series was all that mattered, Kershaw. All right, reliever.
So,
Go
my
ahead.
5 would be DeGrom, Fried, Lamet. I'll go Ryu, and then Keuchel.
Keuchel. So funny. All right, release.
So funny, yeah. 1.99 ERA. You want to disrespect
It's
him?
pretty good. It's pretty good, I guess. Relief pitchers. You get 2 here, Andrew. We've got Nick Anderson, Alex Colomé, Jake Diekman, Brad Hanley, and Hendricks, and NL Rookie of the Year, Devin Williams.
Jake Diekman really surprised me when he made the list.
Yeah, shout out to the Diekman. I appreciate you being on this list, man. My first teamers, I've got Devin Williams and Liam Hendricks. Second team, I've got Nick Anderson and Brad Hand.
Wait, where's your first team again?
Liam Hendricks and Devin Williams.
Okay. I'm gonna go first team. Yeah, I guess I have to agree with that.
Devin Williams is so good. Like you want to put like Nick Anderson up there, you just can't. Like literally, like one person got to run off of him this whole year.
Yeah, so I mean, I think Liam Hendricks is pretty much a lock for that one too, for the first team. But okay, yeah, I'll go Hendricks and Williams, and then second team, Hand, and oh, you're big and high on Nick Anderson.
I love Nick Anderson.
I know you do, but
Colomé is good. You're gonna put the Diekman in there?
I want to, but no.
So Colomé it is then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Colomé.
Good. All right, let's move on because we're about to hit the hour mark, and we still got 1.5 topics left. You know, I want to kind of get through this one quickly. I hope by the way, the All-MLB teams get announced tomorrow, so we'll see if we're right next week then. So follow along, maybe send us a tweet if we're and make fun of us if we're wrong, and maybe give us a pat on the back if we're right. Who knows? Who's to say? Go ahead, Andrew. You have something to say?
I completely forgot. I don't know why this name just jumped to my head. You know who we forgot to mention the hot stove?
Oh yeah, sure. Who?
Charlie Morton.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since that happened. Charlie Morton to the Braves. Yeah, that's a great sign, and they have an incredible rotation as well.
Yeah, I don't know why that just popped in my head, but it did.
Yeah, that was just so long ago. We haven't been on for a while. Charlie Morton, congratulations, Charlie. 1 year, $15 million to Atlanta. Great signing. I thought he might go to the Red Sox. The Red Sox were chasing after him too, pretty interestingly enough. But good for him. I thought actually, realistically, I thought he was going to go to the Rays again, but they got it done.
Yeah,
so that's fun. So Andrew, we talked about it earlier. The MLB winter meeting started this week on Monday, I believe. We're on the second day of it. The hot stove got a little warm, got a little sizzly today. I'm not going to play the noise again. Well, maybe we'll. But MLB.com made a list of each franchise's biggest transaction during the winter meetings that took place during the winter meetings, and I'd like to just throw some out at you. I'd like to maybe get a power rankings real quick. We don't have to do like a full power rankings. I just like a top 3 here.
All right.
I narrowed them down. Some were not that exciting. So I think the Diamondbacks one was the funniest one. The Diamondbacks one was them trading away Max Scherzer to the Tigers.
That's great.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Shout out to Diamondbacks.
Yeah, always doing a really good job. Shout out to Shelby Miller for Dansby Swanson. Never forget that. Oh my God. So let's start in 1965, Andrew. We'll start in 1965. The Orioles get Frank Robinson. Pretty good guy there. Frank Robinson to the Orioles. The Reds get Milt Papas, Jack Balchkin, and everyone's favorite Simpson, Dick Simpson. And by the way, Andrew, if just to make this trade even better for the Orioles, Frank Robinson went ahead and won the Triple Crown in 1966, the season right after this trade. So that's a pretty good trade right there in the winter meetings.
Pretty good trade, yeah.
We'll move. You'll notice that these are kind of split into divisions because that is how MLB.com had them. So we're going to continue down to the AL East. The Red Sox, they signed this player named Manny Ramirez. Have you ever heard of him?
Maybe because I know a Red Sox fan. Maybe that's why. But
So I don't know if you saw that this TikTok or this Vine or whatever we're calling these nowadays, but it was a video of Manny Ramirez going up to this guy wearing a Red Sox hat, and he was like, "Hey, bro, nice hat," and the guy was like, this is my girlfriend's hat, bro. Like, and he had no idea who the fuck Manny was, and I wanted to die. I would literally have a heart attack, Andrew. I think I would literally have a heart attack if Manny Ramirez tapped me on the shoulder and told me nice hat. So, but it's 8 years, 160 million. Manny goes to the Boston. Moving on, we've got New York. They locked down CC Sabathia this good old winter meetings in 2008. 7 years, 161 million. In 2007, the Detroit Tigers made a move. Andrew, do you have any guess of who this is?
2007, I've been Miguel Cabrera.
This is Miguel Cabrera. They also got Dontrelle Willis in the trade too. But in 2007, Miguel Cabrera to the Tigers happened during the winter meetings. In 1988, the Rangers changed their franchise. They acquired Rafael Palmeiro, Jamie Moyer, Julio Franco, and some guy named hold on, can you make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly, Andrew? Because I don't know. I just wanted to make sure. It's Nolan Ryan. It's Nolan Ryan. They also got him in 1988, so that's a pretty good franchise-changing move right there.
Yeah. I didn't know that he got Jamie Moore. That's news to me.
It was news to me, Andrew. It was news to me too. The Braves in 1982 convinced Greg Maddux to come on board. I thought it was pretty funny. I read a little article about it. Greg Maddux, free agent pitcher. Everyone's courting him. New York gives him a $34 million offer to go to the Yankees. Instead, Greg Maddux, good guy Greg Maddux. This is why he is my favorite pitcher of all time, obviously. He takes a 5-year, $28 million deal, less millions, to go to the Braves in 1992, and he wins the World Series in 1995. Shout out to Greg Maddux for not going to the Yankees. Andrew, since we're on the NL East now, do you want to guess what the Phillies is? I guarantee you won't guess it, but
Simons is old.
Yes.
Give me a year.
1978, Andrew. They signed a player on a fucking gigantic deal, a 4-year, $3.24 million deal for this player. A Hall of Famer that is not in the Hall of Fame.
I was about to say, I think it's Pete Rose.
It is, in fact, Pete Rose, Andrew. The Phillies get Pete Rose in 1978 during the winter meetings. 4 years, $3.24 million. The Pirates, they draft this guy named Roberto Clemente in the Rule 5 draft during the winter meetings.
Okay.
And the last one I wrote down, I guess is the last one I found interesting, was the Reds pick up Joe Morgan, one of the biggest cogs in the Big Red Machine. Andrew, after all of those, and there's one that might be the biggest one, but we're going to save that one for the end. So out of those, Andrew, which one did you think was the biggest one?
There's a lot of good ones. That's really tough.
Hey, some would say winter meetings are a popular place where guys make deals.
Hey, you know what that is though? If you take a look at that, it sounds like it used to be. Like you left out a lot of good.
There's a lot of good ones,
but you notice how none of them are really within the last 5-6 years.
Hey, Andrew, we're going to talk about some things that happened on this date in past years, and you'll get a good kick out of it.
Trying to think. That's so tough. Because Pete Rose helped the Phillies win a World Series. Nolan Ryan, obviously, is Nolan Ryan.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Manny Ramirez helped the Red Sox.
Yeah, could say that.
Frank Robinson's Frank Robinson. Spathy's out. Spathy's out. Wait, which was it? The Brewers that signed him or the Yankees?
CC, the Brewers, or no, the Brewers, the Yankees.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Greg Maddux, they're pretty good too.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Pete Rose is the best.
You don't have to give me an actual answer here. It's just we're just showing you the.
Give me Pete Rose and Nolan Ryan because they're probably the best two players in that whole thing.
Okay, good. So that's just basically showing you guys that the winter meetings are a popular place. Or we're in full swing now. It's exciting to see what's going to happen. Maybe we'll see a signed JT happen in this next couple of days. Who's to say? Andrew, are you ready for this lovely little outro? I want to start doing something for all these outros. I think you'll be excited for it.
I'm ready.
So today, Andrew, we're gonna date the podcast. It is December 8th, Andrew. Tuesday, December 8th, and we've got some birthdays, Andrew. Let's talk some birthdays. I think we should honor some people. Say happy birthday to some MLB people, some athletes, some people that we know, and we should honor them on their birthday. You should say happy birthday. Happy birthday to Josh Donaldson, the bringer of rain today. It's his birthday. Appreciate you. Happy birthday to Hall of Famer Mike Messina. And happy birthday to Vernon Wells, Toronto
Okay.
Day. Love Vernon Wells. And I want to send a special shout out, a special happy birthday, Andrew. See, also, this is the fun part about this, guys. This is some backstage podcasting right here. I don't tell Andrew I do these things. I just send him the sheet, and if he doesn't look, he doesn't know. So I'm gonna keep him, or he's gonna.
Hey, this was actually not on the sheet. These last two things were not on the sheet.
Hey, they I promise you they're there.
They're not, unless you added them after.
I definitely did. Yeah, I add things all the time. I told you I prep. But this is my last happy birthday. Next time you can bring some special happy birthdays for you, Andrew. Specifically, this one's for me, Alfredo Aceves. Happy birthday to Alfredo Aceves, a legendarily shitty Red Sox pitcher. Had a great year in 2011. He went 10-2 in 2011. Andrew, dominant. Had a 2.5 ERA, and then in 2012, 2-10. Fucking stunk it up. Was on the collapsed Red Sox team that stunk it up the next year, and he came from the Yankees too, which was funny. So shout out to him, Alfredo Aceves, a special place in my heart. I will always remember you absolutely being awful in the Red Sox and almost getting into a fight in the Baseball World Classic on Team Mexico.
Okay.
Okay, so I've got one last thing for you, Andrew. Another last outro thing that we're.
Is the Packers thing?
No, this is not the Packers.
Okay.
No. Today in baseball, Andrew. We're gonna do another little date thing. We're gonna talk about what happened today in baseball, and there's 4 signings that I'd like to talk about today. 4. 3 of them all happen to be by the same team, and the team that we've talked about already made 2 signings earlier. On this date in 2011, December 8th, the Angels of Anaheim signed pitcher with one of my favorite gloves consistently. Love this guy's glove. CJ Wilson, 5 years, $77 million. 5 years, $77.5 million. We'll get you every money you can, CJ. Now a photographer. Love CJ Wilson. Not very good pitcher when he was on the Angels. Good on the Rangers. But again, love his glove. Look it up. It was always very colorful. It's my favorite thing when I was growing up. They also signed some guy named Albert Pujols. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Is that right?
I think it's Albert Pujols.
Okay, so Albert Pujols, they signed him to a 10-year, $254 million contract on this date in 2011, Andrew. I just want to remind everyone that he was 32 years old when he signed that contract. And to top that off, he might not even been 32 years old. People lie about their age all the time. And there have been rumors that he lied about his age. He might be 34 when he signed that deal. So he signed it. And Andrew, good thing, Andrew. We're in the 2021 season. Believe it or not, Andrew. We're about to come up on it. And this is the last year of his deal, Andrew. This is the last year of the Pujols contract. In 2022, he becomes an unrestricted free agent. Andrew, guess how much money he's making this year?
$20 million.
He's picking up a $30 million check, Andrew. $30 million from the Angels. $30 million. I love to hear that. Shout out to you, Mr. Albert Pujols. Next, an actual good signing from the Angels. They signed Shohei Ohtani. Shout out to him. Good old Shohei comes out. He signs in 2018. He makes it officially, goes to the Angels has not had the start we all wanted with the Angels, but he's had his moments of being the Japanese Babe Ruth, and we all love him for it. And lastly, Andrew, this is actually probably the signing that I would say is the biggest in winter meetings history because it happened today and the winter meetings are happening. So this counts, Andrew. Today in 1982, the greatest baseball player that has picked up a bat signed to play with the San Francisco Giants. Barry Lamar Bonds signed the richest contract in baseball history at the time. 6 years, a whopping 43 stacks, 43 sheets, Andrew, to play with the San Francisco Giants, and he fucking played with the San Francisco Giants, all right.
I didn't realize it was that old. You say he signed that in 1982?
1992.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes more sense.
1992.
I thought you said 82, and I was like, wow, I did not realize it was that old.
92. No. So shout out to Barry Bonds as well. So we'll keep doing that at the end of our shows. Andrew, I hope to hear some funny birthdays from you coming up. So do you have anything to plug out of here before we leave?
Yeah, you can check out my other podcast at Philly_Sports Now is Twitter, Philly Sports Now on Apple Podcasts. Check out any latest Philadelphia sports news. True_Philly Sport and at ANYP Phillies are the other ones that I'm on. If you want a strictly Phillies podcast as well.
I can't wait, Andrew. I cannot wait. I'm gonna end the show here, Andrew. I would love to hear. I just want a one word.
I knew it.
I want a one word answer. One word, Andrew. You hear that?
2.
How does it feel to have fucking Jalen Hurts to be your starting quarterback after you get stomped by the stupid Packers?
Hate it.
Love it. We'll see you guys next week. See you guys. Talk to you guys on Tuesday of next week. Who knows? And on Thursday, Pub Sports Radio might have a little treat. Who's to say? Who's to say, Andrew? Who's to say? See you guys.
We were holding hands, tried to make me understand.